Hello everyone, Dan14 Prime here. Want to do a video share today with you guys as the Hot Toys Summertime 2020 exclusives are finally landing here in the US. I've got here today their Spider-Man 2099 video game masterpiece series as seen in the PS4 video game. Hot Toys refers to it as the Spider-Man 2099 Black Suit. I think a really cool figure to be getting our hands on from Hot Toys, and I just love these video game licenses are really giving us unique opportunities to get figures like this that I think we would never otherwise get, with Hot Toys generally focusing on movie licenses. Now these summertime exclusives never seem to sell out on PO like they used to, so this guy's still available and now in stock at Sideshow. As usual, I've got links down in the description below. Yes, Sideshow, also Amazon and eBay. Any shopping you do through those links at all, it just supports the channel at no cost to you, so thank you very much for that. They did do a really nice job with this packaging, so I'll just take an extra second here. All sorts of, I think these are photos or video game clips, I don't know, but some really cool panels there all along the side here. Of course, rotates across and we get a nice sturdy flap here, where it as well opens up on the inside with this red shaded image of Spider-Man 2099. That is Miguel O'Hare, for those that read the comic books. That's where the figure would be, but I've already got him out, so let's take a look. So let me start off here with just giving you the museum pose overview of Spider-Man 2099. As mentioned before, he's coming from the PS4 Spider-Man game. I never got around to playing that game. We had it in the house. My son enjoyed it very much. I never found the time. I know Spider-Man 2099 myself more from the comic books, where I went and checked him out, maybe read the first 20 issues or so. Pretty interesting, fun concept, and what makes for really a beautifully designed spider suit. As mentioned before, he is a different person technically. Miguel O'Hare, the very interesting Irish and Latino mixture. And it has some relatable storyline to the classic Spider-Man, where he works for a big corporate entity. He's a scientist. There's an explosion, and he gets some powers somehow through that process. It's been a while since I've read it. I think whatever they carried into the game and into this figure, it really captures a lot of that classic comic book Spider-Man 2099. The beautiful blue suit with the red accents. They give him the clawed fingers. He would have fangs as well, but we don't see underneath the mask. They gave him web shooters here, which I don't think he would need in a comic book. I think he just shot that straight out of his skin. But really the only criticism I have of the piece, as someone who wants to connect it back to the comic book, though I understand it's not necessarily trying to do that, is he's missing those beautiful web wings on his back. It really is a great accent to the costume and adds a lot of dramatic effect. It's a really cool piece to the uniform, and it's too bad they took that off. Or maybe it's just not used in a video game at all. I don't know, but I'm missing it from a comic book perspective. In terms of the pack out, this is everything included in the box. Of course, you got the figure there, the stand with the flight pole, some webbings. He has 5 sets of total hands, as well as 2 unique individual hands, and some swap out web blasters that have the web effect coming out that works with all of those. So it's a decent pack out. I still think for $265, it's quite a bit by the time you pay tax and shipping. He's going to approach $300. So considering we don't even get a real head sculpt on this piece, it is pretty pricey. So let me jump you through some of these extras really quickly. Here, of course, we get your standard pair of closed fists. You can see the uniform even on the hands. It looks really nice. The texture is there. The sheen is there. Really glossy red accents. So I definitely like the uniform. We'll come back and take a closer look at the figure. I'll show you all the accessories now, and these do look good. He has a pair of these clingy claw hands. These look really cool. The claws are one of the coolest things on Miguel O'Hare. We have here a set of like wall crawling hands. Again, you can't help but notice the claws, but this would be if he was sort of perched on a wall. A pair of your classic posed Spidey web shooting hands. Again, really gnarly with the long fingers, but we all know that pose. Got to have a set of those for Spidey. And then you've probably seen them already. They're on the figure, a set of these. Again, sort of clingy, but not quite as tight with the grip. More of a relaxed palm sort of look. Set of those on the figure. You get one left hand here for this sort of left hand salute / karate chop looking hand. Stop, whatever you'd like to do. And then one right hand here for a point. So a really, really robust set of hands. As mentioned, we also get a pair of these web shooters that are more action and in effect. You can see the web starting to sprawl out of the shooter, and you would just plug in the web extensions to complete the look. So let me just show you here a web shooter. Just so you know, you swap this out. So you take the web slinging hand, and you can actually pull out the palm just on some tabs in there. So the palm pulls off just like that. You take this piece, and you can see how it fits on. Again, it's got tabs. And voila. Just clips right in there like so. That's pretty cool. And then here we get the webs, and I'm trying to create some contrast with the clear and the white background table. Sort of the web splat. We've seen that, of course, before. So there's repack that. Same with what I think is a lot of these webs. It's all very similar, swinging webs, straight webs, some sort of web bombs, if you will, all up in here. And this one I didn't necessarily recognize. Doesn't mean we haven't seen it before because I don't have them all memorized, but it's a swinging web, but he's got more coiling up around here down by the hand. So that is pretty cool. Reminds me of like a McFarlane, just web spaghettiing all over the place kind of effect. And then here is the stand, which I think is really good looking. Spider-Man 2099, really cool here. Try to get an angle on that so it's not glaring, but very video game-esque, just with these sort of red lights all around it and sort of this almost hologram looking image of him, of his head right there. That's a really cool looking stand. I do like that. And as I mentioned before, you've got a short flight stand there. You can have Spidey swinging around. All right, now let's get to the fun part here, the figure. This is what it's all about. Check out this beautiful suit. Let's start out upstairs here. You can see they've got the blue suit. It's got a sheen to it. It's got a really fine texture across it. They put in these panels and different stitching that you'll see all through the suit. He's pretty well muscled up on the front of his torso. The head here, just starting while we're upstairs, again, the details are raised off of the mask. It's like a plastic head. So we've seen that before with Spidey. Sometimes they'll do a plastic head. Sometimes they actually put the material around the head. The material is always better, but this isn't too bad. I mean, if I get really picky, I can say, the texture detail, it's not exactly the same in the head. And depending on how the light hits, you can almost say it looks a shade off. But again, that just has to do with the lighting. So just so you know, I mean, you get the plastic head, not material. So it's not the best way that they can do it, but I think they've done it pretty well. And yeah, it's a cool head. The only thing I would have asked for is maybe an alternate head with his mask sort of pulled up, seeing the fangs. Something like that would be cool because that's a key signature element of Miguel O'Hare. We'll drop then down into his torso. This logo is just always so cool. Again, it's raised off of there, so you're going to have to watch. I'll talk about articulation a bit, but they're actually able to make it work despite all these raised elements coming off of the suit and a material that already is probably pretty springy. But they make it work in how they do the articulation. That nice red stripe through there. I don't know, I just spin them. You can see how the texture here, they have these like almost leather, like gloss patent leather sort of accents, darker blue pieces. Again, you just see all the different panels that they've created through the stitching. It adds a lot to the costume to work with that texture that I mentioned. So it is cool. You get, a couple shades of blue here with the red as well, and the beautiful logo accent. There you can see all the muscle well padded out. Really works awesome from the front. You start turning to the side. You start to lose it through here, but it's okay. It's to be expected. That view right there is pretty much money. I mean, it's really, really well done with that torso. Then coming down to the lower of the figure, see how the front just sort of fades down there into the crotch area. The hands there. Again, just more of these nice blue panels. Just the suit going down. As you just get all the blue effects, so the lower body, it's less flashy. But, it's what it is. You get some of this blue on the knee as well. Lots of panels going on through the leg. You can see all those. That helps create some look. and it's all just one thing. There's no official sort of boot cutoff, which I think is proper. And then again, you come down here, you get some heel accent, bottom of the shoe even, some cool accents and stuff like that. So they did a nice job. It's beautiful. The way they raised it, I was a little worried about the raised material, but I think it works really good. It doesn't feel clunky or like it's going to fall off or break easily on the figure either. So pretty happy with how they put this guy together and definitely how they pull off the look. In terms of articulation, like usual, I'm not going to drain it, but a few things I want to talk about. I mean, you're not really going to have problems with the head. It's sort of like ball jointed. So it's not the magnetic thing that we sometimes get with Spider-Man, but ball jointed, and it's going to be fine. There's nothing there that's going to in the way with that. Now the shoulders, you might be concerned with these up here, the nature of the suit, but hear that? They use some pretty heavy, from my experience of Hot Toys, which goes back some time, pretty heavy clickety joints to really make that hold in place for a pose. You can see the material in the suit, it starts to stretch and suffer a little bit, but that isn't too bad in the grand scheme of things. I'm sure you could sort of pose and try to lay things as nice as you wanted for your display or your photo, whatever you're trying to do. So that works pretty well. Same with straight out, you don't get the ratchet per se, but you can actually activate it just a little bit there. But it works pretty well. So the articulation is pretty good, and they use the ratchets to help make that happen. It's all laid out in the instructions in terms of what they caution you to sort of watch what you push. They talk about 50 degrees really through the torso, 50 degrees sort of back. And again, he's ratcheting even in the torso. So you can hold the pose. It's not an issue. The issue is just, are you going to damage stuff like that? But again, 50 degrees is what they talk about through there, or even sort of rocking a bit to the side. So the articulation, it is there, which was pretty nice. I pretty much was assuming this guy was going to be like a museum piece, but it's not the case at all with these ratchets and these joints. Usual stuff with the ball pegs at the hand that I won't get into. The leg, again, nothing really restricting it, so less of concern there. You don't have all of the highlights and stuff. So he can kick out pretty good. He can bend his leg just fine. All of that's there. The natural sort of hip rotation, all there. He's even got the little split in the foot. So articulation is pretty good. Now, the only downside is, as we often have with Spidey, they warn of not holding poses with this suit. So again, as a collector, you need to make the choice to say, do I just not care because I want him on display cool and how I want him to be and just be dynamic and be Spider-Man, and you're willing to take some creases? Or if you want to keep him perfect, you're going to have to, unfortunately, display him more museum-esque. And I didn't show there. You also get some ratchet in the hips when you do the splits and stuff too. So again, pretty cool. I think they should do more of that to help with posing, because it's been more and more a problem over the years with the way they make these uniforms and these suits, that articulation isn't great. Ratchets like what we see with this guy, it helps quite a bit. Just a watch out here. I generally don't go over quality with Hot Toys. It's a high quality figure. But I'm noticing just with the seams here, here's a really nice seam. Beautiful, tight, sealed, as well through the torso. Nice, tight, sealed. I notice on this side, clunky, sort of parting and spreading already, and I was noticing some threads already starting to fray out of the inside of that arm. Same thing up here, kind of clunky. So check your seams. I'm going to contact Sideshow about this one, because it looks like, I don't know if you can see even at that view right there, these little puffy things you see coming off the arm, that's like some of the threading that was already out of the box fraying a little bit. So check that stuff over when you get them in hand. So there you have it, guys. Spider-Man 2099 Video Game Masterpiece Series. A pretty cool figure. Really, really aesthetically beautiful figure. Surprisingly good articulation. A little light on accessories, but to be expected for, what you're getting here. It's not like you're going to get a lot of accessories with Spider-Man, but we get the typical stuff we'd expect with the pack out. Be nice to get another head sculpt, but just not the case with this one from the video game. But all in all, I'm really happy with it. Again, if you want yours or any Hot Toys or collectible shopping, link down in the description below. I've also got a link for Amazon and eBay down there, my Instagram as well. Again, any shopping you do through those links, it just supports the channel, no cost to you, so thanks very much for that. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed and you like Hot Toys and other high-end collectibles, please subscribe. I always try to do a video share out whenever some cool things are coming into the Prime Empire here. And as always, any like or comment you leave on the video, helps the video and channel out very much, so thanks very much for that. Alright guys, thanks for checking in on this video share out. Hot Toys Spider-Man 2099. I'll see you next time.